Hey guys, I finally have some new stuff going on with the car. It's getting very close at this point. It's put up all the way around, as you can see. Got the motor put back in it over the weekend. I guess it was Friday night. My dad came out here and we got it angled in here with the transmission on it. The Turbo 400 was mated up. And it definitely took two sets of hands as far as we had to angle it to get it to sit down in there. And then Friday night I got most of this put back together. And then Saturday came out, and main things to mess with on Saturday were I got these fuel lines made up. The old ones, let me grab a light before I go to the dark. The old ones were leaking. You can see that in an earlier video, but they were leaking right down here where I had the rubber line just going on to the factory line. So I figured you're not really supposed to have a whole lot of length of rubber line anyway, especially to pass tech and all that stuff. So these are just union fittings, flared union fittings, and then the appropriate size hard line, and then bent up lines, and they come out right there, and then right over to here. Now these were a pain in the ass. Particularly this top one here. And what was happening is this is a compression fitting into it's like a union type deal. It's got a flare on one end to accept the flare, and then it adapts it to an NPT pipe thread, and then a double female here, and then a 3/8, well, it's a quarter NPT and a 3/8 barb fitting on this side for the fuel or feed line, and the return line's just the smaller stuff, the appropriate size smaller stuff. So the initial setup I had here, this barb fitting was stripped and didn't make a nice tight seal into the sleeve here, and it was wrapped with some tape that was rated for fuel and everything. Down here you can see I had to go with a remote mount transmission dipstick tube. This one's actually really nice. You can see it down there. It's O-ringed and everything. It's a low car. I have a part number over there for it. O-ringed handle, really nice. I actually have to make a bracket for it. Let's zoom out. Make a bracket so it sits up here somewhere. And then everything else is pretty much the standard stuff that you've already seen. Since the intake air temp sensor is now correct, there's no longer a need for the starting fluid. And then in the car, this is what I'm going to work on this week, is getting all this wire tucked and everything. Gauges mounted better. And I actually have another shifter. It's identical shifter. Where's it at? It's over here somewhere. It's right here in the box. Brand new one. And all that. So I'm going to have to weld the new feet on the other shifter. This one was for mock-up. This one's missing a bunch of stuff. And I got a cable and everything. So now we'll go underneath. Trying to think if there's anything else. Hopefully we can see under here. It's not too dark. So here's everything. I have the part numbers for all this. I'll show you then. Here's torque converter. This is a Summit Racing nitrous torque converter. It's a 2800 to 3200, I believe, stall. And this is an advanced adapter 5.3 to Turbo 400 flex plate kit. And it actually has a little bit more of a dish in it. And it's drilled for the Turbo 400 converter. So this actually came out really nice. I did have to end up using some washers, you can see there, to space it out. So the transmission's in. Everything everything, I got room for everything. Here's where the line's gonna get, or the shifter cable. I still have to make a transmission bracket for this transmission. I'd mocked it up with a power glide, and you can see over there's the factory Fox cross member, and the power glide actually ended up, the mounting point was pretty much in line with that, and I just had to make a straight post type mount. This one's back pretty far. I don't know if we can get that. There's dirt falling on my nose. And then I bent up some hard transmission cooler lines. These came out really nice. Let me just come down and come straight across the car right here, and then they shoot up behind the steering shaft there and then out to the front. And then right now the cooler's just kind of dangling here, but this is going to get mounted up back there, and I'm going to make a shield so it doesn't get covered in water and stuff from the tire. I keep knocking stuff in my face. Alright. So now, I'll show you it starts up. Get the Federated Auto Parts creeper out. It sounds much better since the exhaust leaks have been fixed and gaskets are on there right, everything's tight, and I don't have the, or I should say I have the EGR block-off plate tight. But now, since the idle air control thing's shut, or push shut, the idle's too low. So now I have to, my idle adjustment screw is seized in place in the factory one. So I'm going to do something, I might drill it out or put something new in there, but and there's back pop. Gonna take a little fine tuning. Sounds much better though. It'll idle nice and low. It's getting close. I gotta get it to sit right about there for idle. Actually, well, the tack should be about right. Yeah, it's about 1,000. So there we go. We're getting real close now. I've ordered a Turbo 400 yoke off of, I think I got it off eBay. It's for a Muncie or a Super T10. It uses a 1350 U-joint. And then I'm going to measure when that gets here. I can measure from center of U-joint to center of U-joint of the 8.8 rear, the plate that goes on the drive shaft, the what mounts to the 8.8 rear. So I can measure from center of U-joint to center of U-joint and then order my drive shaft. I'm just going to get it from Southwest Speed. It's like $180 for a drive shaft that comes with the U-joint and torque converter, or U-joint and yoke, but it's a Turbo 350 yoke. And the yoke I got's a 1350 U-joint, so I have to get the 1310 to 1350 adapter U-joints for it to work. And the back, I'll have to get a one for to convert to the Mustang pattern as well for the rear U-joint. So, and then it's, you know, down to the nitty-gritties. I obviously have some leaking here from not completely tight dangling transcooler lines. And here's my temporary alternator hookup. I actually have to buy a plug for that. And I need bigger injectors. These are still the stock ones. I'm getting the 80-pound injectors. I just want to make sure that it's gonna roll first and move, and the transmission's not junk. But so far everything's sounding alright. There's no vibration or anything like that. So hopefully by the end of the week I should have at least the yoke here, and I'll get the other the 8/8 section here off the back of the drive shaft. I'll get that measured. So I'm trying really hard to have the car done by June, the first weekend in June. So we'll see how far we make it, and I'll make another video here shortly. If you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. I have pretty much everything documented. And speaking of documenting, here's the adapter I used. There's the part number. So that's it.